I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but I have a deep desire to declutter and de-own lots of things in my home. Yet I struggle with this journey, and I've been struggling for a while. Sometimes in order to figure out how you can get to the other side, you've got to figure out, why am I doing this? Why is this such a problem area for me? So today I'm going to share 10 reasons you're struggling to own less / 10 reasons I'm struggling to own less as a frugal minimalist. Let's do this. The first reason is time. One of the large benefits of practicing frugal living and minimalism is that I'm spending my time, my money, and my energy on the things that matter and really minimizing the things that don't matter. So when it comes to time, I'm very picky. I'm very selective in what I spend my time doing. And the irony is, if I would just spend the quality time to declutter and de-own, I feel like I would have actually a lot more time on my hands. But we tell ourselves, I don't have time to do that. And I was just talking to my friend about this earlier. We're always saying there's not enough hours in the week. And I truly believe, though, if we were, I always use this term, to get our arms around this and really get our home to a place where you're not tripping over things and you're not looking for things and you know exactly where everything is and it's appealing to look at. I love a little negative space. I don't know about you. I love it when not every shelf is taken, not every drawer is full. I really love that. So if I could just find the time, if you guys time block, I would highly suggest make it like it's an appointment and get to it. Number 2, you don't know where to start. When I decide I need to get involved and I need to declutter, I'm overwhelmed. It looks like a lot. I don't know where to start. Where am I supposed to start? Am I supposed to do the Marie Kondo method? Is there another method that is better that I'm missing out on? Like, where should I start? Should I start in my bedroom? Should I start in the kitchen? Should I start in my son's room? The bathroom? Where do I begin? In the end, you just got to pick a place and start. Get started somewhere and the momentum will start to grow and it will snowball into the next section, but you've got to just pick a place and start. Number 3, you start with the hardest stuff. Don't start with the hardest stuff. Don't you even dare think about sentimental items to start with. That is the quickest way to burn out and get frustrated and think, oh, there's no way I can go on from here because I don't know what to do with these things. Listen, don't start with sentimental items. Start with whatever you think is the least emotional, the least heavy parts first. Start with trash. Where's the trash? Can you take out the trash? What can you throw away? What is truly trash? Start with something easier and then go from there. Don't start with the hard stuff. Number 4, you feel guilty or obligated to keep things. I feel like this is one of my hardest ones. I often feel obligated if somebody gave me something or I spent a lot of money on it. Who can relate? This is my biggest problem. I feel obligated, I feel guilty, and both of those feelings are feelings I truly, truly despise feeling because they're both really not that productive, and I don't think they're actually very effective in the long run, but we are human and we can't help but feel these things. You don't owe anyone your peace and your sanity by keeping something they thought they were blessing you with, but it turns out it's not. I'm sure that if the person that gave you that item knew it was actually creating all this angst and stress and negative feelings in your life, they would never want you to keep that item around to make you feel bad. And also, if you paid a lot of money for it, let's be honest. Let's get real for a second. What good is that item doing shoved in the back of your closet right now, taking up your space? What good is that item doing shoved into a drawer that you don't even see because you don't want to look at it because you already feel guilty enough that you wasted the time and now the space in your precious home? Get rid of it. You don't need to keep that. The money's already spent. Don't let that feeling of obligation and guilt dictate how you live in the future. Start fresh, start now. Get rid of it. Number 5, you're actually thinking about your fantasy self versus your current self. Sometimes we keep things thinking that we're going to be a certain way in the future, but that's not actually how we are, and we need to relinquish that vibe, and we need to come to the realization that that's not really us, and that's not who we are right now, and we don't have to force ourselves to be ways that we aren't. For example, like think about the grocery shopping thing that I've told you before. I used to buy produce like it was my part-time job, thinking, oh, I'm going to eat healthy when I buy this produce. But guess what? It just rotted in my refrigerator. And then how good did I feel about my future healthy self, letting food rot, wasting money, and not actually putting the nutrients in my body? Do you know what I'm saying? It's not who I was at the time, and it wasn't who I was going to be, and I just needed to get right with the fact of who I really am. And I feel like I need to do that too with the decluttering process. If you've ever struggled to own less like me, take a second and write in the comments, struggle bus, so I know that you hear this, you feel this, you might have struggled just a little or a lot at some point in your life with decluttering, de-owning, and really narrowing your home down to what you actually want. Number 6, you think you might need it someday. This reminds me of my friend who thought she was going to be a camper. She heard camping is a great way to bond with the family and save some money. And so she got all the camping stuff and she got the tent and all the supplies. And then she realized she hates being outside and she hates the bugs and she hates the whole camping experience. And now she has all this camping stuff that they're never going to use. And, you know, in those kind of cases where maybe you kind of do things on a whim, or you think you're going to use it, or you're only going to use it like one time, like maybe you could borrow the stuff from someone, a friend, a family member, so you don't actually have to clutter up your own home. And, you know, if you're thinking you're keeping stuff, you've already got it, and you're like, maybe someday I'll use this, just have a real heart-to-heart moment with yourself. Are you really? Are you really going to use it someday? And if it's just once or twice or something, is it worth it? Just ponder it. Just think about it. Number 7, keeping up with the Joneses. We've all experienced this. A friend or a neighbor or a family member gets some cool stuff and you're like, geez, that looks nice. I kind of want that stuff. Your neighbor upgrades to a new car and you're like, geez, that would be nice. I want a new car. Your friend's back porch is suddenly decorated with the lights and the fire pit and all the stuff. And you're like, geez, maybe I need a fire pit and some lighting. You know, maybe you need that too. All this makes it harder to own less when we're trying to keep up with other people. But you've also got to remember that not everybody has the same taste in things and the same wants and desires. And just because Susie and Sean have that new shiny thing doesn't mean that's for you necessarily. You don't have to own more just because Susie and Sean own more. Number 8, the pressure of social media. Social media kind of feels like a scoreboard. Like, she's got this and he's got this. And geez, I feel like I need to accumulate more too to show I'm at this point in life too because I have this. You guys know what I'm talking about. And a lot of us in the frugal community and in the minimalist community, I think that we have, really worked on working our way around this and navigating through those feelings because they're hard feelings sometimes. Try following more channels or social media accounts that make you proud of owning less and being encouraged to live that lifestyle that you're striving for. Number 9, you're emotionally attached to these things. It's very hard sometimes to part with things that you have an emotional connection to. And that is why I would highly recommend you wait for those things till the end. Now, there are some things that you might just have a connection with that are negative. An old boyfriend or girlfriend, a family member that treated you poorly, but you've kept it and you think that you have to hold on to it because there is an emotional tie. But I will be the first to tell you, as soon as you get rid of those things that bring any kind of negativity or breed any negative thoughts inside your way, you will feel free. I have experienced that firsthand. And once you cut those ties, it's going to improve your life exponentially almost immediately. But if they conjure up positive images and positive things, if there are a few important things, can you take a photo of it? Could you frame it and put it on the wall and actually make it part of your ambiance, or just have a photo of it so you can always remember it, but you don't need to actually hold and touch the thing? That's a possible solution. But the things that really, really matter, just keep it to a minimum. You don't have to keep all the things. Let me repeat that. You don't have to keep all the things. I give you permission. Let go of some of the things. Number 10, you've always had it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, It's just something that you're used to seeing all the time. And it's just part of your everyday. So you don't really think about getting rid of it. But when you take a minute and you look at it and you're like, do I really need this? Do I value this? Does this really add to my house? Like, am I thrilled to see this item? Do I really need it? Think about it. There's also some things in your house, I'm sure, that you could use something else instead of that, but you're used to using this. For example, this is a good example and a terrible example because I'm not getting rid of this, but I have a plate and a cup that Kaden has for the night Santa comes. So Christmas Eve, we always have this certain plate and this certain cup has his name. A friend of ours made it. It's very special, with his name and what the instructions are, and we use it every year. But we use it once a year. One time, December 24th, that evening, one time, we use this big old plate and we use this one mug. And that's the only time we'll ever use it. Could we use a regular plate and a regular cup? Yes! Think about that for your Christmas stuff and your holiday stuff. Do we have to have all these holiday themes exactly the way that we've always used it? Sometimes the answer is yes. But sometimes you could just use a big old red plate instead of the ones that say holiday stuff. Or at Halloween, you could use something orange that you could use again instead of the holiday decor thing. You know what I'm saying? Now is your turn. Leave me in the comments. What is one of the reasons that you struggle to own less?
Happy Frugal Friday, KSQUAD.